This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. I was hoping it was going to be a laid-back show. Then a bunch of news happened right before we came on the air. Trump's issued a bunch of pardons. He's now spoke out against the COVID relief bill that passed last night. We now know the reasons why it took so long to pass the bill. They were still arguing over shit until minutes before it passed. Because we watched the whole fucking thing last night after it got passed by the House and went to the Senate floor. We picked it up there, and boy, was that boring. Like 2.5 hours we watched. And they were still bickering over the minutia of the wording. We're going to play video of the militia that tried to storm the Oregon Capitol. Did storm the Oregon Capitol. It's wild. Fox News, Newsmax, walking back their claims about election fraud in the face of lawsuits. The financial host, Dave Ramsey, held a disco party. At least that's the way the news station described it, a disco party. Disco dancing at a company holiday party. That's what the headline says. I'm sorry. I got Pat Robertson speaking some truth. That doesn't happen very often. Plus, I kept talking about it last night, and I totally forgot about it because we went so fucking long on the COVID bill. What's up, Media Winch? I have a story about an axe-wielding dog. We gotta talk about that before we get off the air. Plus, I got some Christmas shit. You need a last-minute present for Christmas? Have you thought about Jordan Peterson's new book? Alright, we're going to start off the night though. Trump has called the COVID relief bill unsuitable and demands that Congress add bigger stimulus payments. Fucking good guy Trump here. What the fuck? This is breaking in like 28 minutes ago on CNBC. President Donald Trump, in a stunning Tuesday night tweet, called the $900 billion COVID relief bill passed by Congress an unsuitable disgrace. I mean, he's not wrong. But I mean, we're not going to get anything better out of the current Congress. So I just like... Well, thanks for speaking up now, too, Trump. After it passed. Maybe if you weren't pissing your pants in the Oval Office, throwing a fit about losing the election, you might have used some of your political clout to do something if you really had principles and felt strongly about it. Urged lawmakers to make a number of changes to the measure, including bigger direct payments to individuals and families. He didn't threaten a veto. He had been expected to sign the legislation into law because I thought Mnuchin was negotiating on his behalf for this. I thought the White House was in on this whole ordeal. Apparently nobody was telling Trump anything. He just found out about it last night. He also suggested that his administration might be the next administration, despite his loss to President-elect Joe Biden. It's amazing the number of right-wing morons that are all over the comment sections, all over this here internet, claiming that the election isn't over. Oh yeah, well you'll see. Trump will still be president. Jesus Christ, the dedication of these people. Kind of like Grateful Dead fans. Like really, like everybody can see that the Grateful Dead sucks. They've still got these diehard fans. Then you got people that just wear the merchandise to go along with the flow. This Grateful Dead metaphor, spot fucking on. My apologies if there's any Grateful Dead fans out there. You would think I would be, given, you know, me. The president's tweet, which included a video of him discussing what he considers the bill's many flaws. There's a video! Well, by God. What, name another song besides Touch of Grey or Casey Jones. Okay, I guess this is it.
In an effort to advance their extreme left-wing agenda and influence the election. Then, a few months ago, Congress started negotiations on a new package to...
I will say, the decorations in the White House are really pretty. I like those. Damn, you really are a Grateful Dead fan. I'm sorry, my apologies. Fuck me. If Melania actually ended up decorating the White House, props to you, Melania, but I didn't think you wanted to do the fucking Christmas shit.
To get urgently needed help to the American people. It's taken forever. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated.
Well, that was a weird cut.
Is a disgrace. For example, among the more than 5,000 pages in this bill, which nobody in Congress has read because of its length and complexity, it's called the COVID Relief Bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID. This bill contains
his body movement is really exaggerated. Like, he's always kind of had those mannerisms, but like, holy, like he's really playing it up right now. I feel like I heard somebody say in a interview that he was still on the steroids, which would explain that.
To Cambodia.
But it's been like 2 months since this motherfucker had the COVID.
$1.3 billion for Egypt and the Egyptian military, which will go out and buy almost exclusively Russian military equipment.
I feel like you're into that shit, though.
Democracy and gender programs in Pakistan. $505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala.
See, I read the list of that shit, but I feel like that's all shit that Trump would like totally be down with.
Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business. $1 billion for the Smithsonian.
Well, I would assume that's money to keep their employees.
$54 million for the National Gallery of Art. Likewise,
cool.
These facilities are essentially not open.
Yeah, they shouldn't be.
$7 million for reef fish management. $25 million to combat Asian carp. $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico. a provision to promote the breeding.
Now, I am not going to sit here and let him badmouth amberjack fish. There are a lot of pork projects inside that bill that are completely unnecessary. That just show that the only way we can get any... And the fucking direct payments, the one thing everybody actually cares about, that was tacked on to the bill. It was always meant to be a giveaway to the corporations. The only way to remedy the situation is, well, there's a couple of different ways. One way involves, like pitchforks and fire, guillotines. I don't feel like that's what's going to happen in this country, so we have to go through the electoral politics, which is far more painful. I feel like he's wanting, so he's kind of been irrelevant, and he's done it to himself. Apparently he's been crying in the Oval Office. So if we're going to talk about this counter rally that they're planning for January the 20th. So if he's wanting to keep his name in the headlines, because that's the one thing that Trump is really good at, is manipulating the media. So if you want to keep his name in the headlines and coming out and being against the bill that passed last night, getting back into the news cycle, and he did it right after the 5 o'clock news tonight. So it'll get covered on the evening news, and then it'll get covered again all day tomorrow. Motherfucker knows what he's doing. And I'm with you. Just go the fuck away, you orange buffoon. I'm so tired. That's why I'm in don't give a fuck mode for the holidays, because I'm just so tired. I'm tired of dealing with Trump. I love politics. I love talking about politics. It's always been my dream to have a political talk show, so that's what we're doing now. I'm tired. I'm tired of the Trump fucks. I'm done with it. I can admire the troll game to a certain extent, but just like I try to be a virtuous troll. There's nothing virtuous about those on the right. I'm gonna rest up through the holidays, and I'm gonna come out rejuvenated in January. We got a lot of fun shit to do. Stream the inauguration. That'll be fun. Do I give Trump any more attention after January the 20th? Do you cover his counter inauguration in any way? Or just take whatever fuckery might happen on the 6th, the runoff election on the 5th? We got a lot of fun shit for January. If you're a political nerd. Hopefully a lot of big votes in Congress with an incoming presidential administration. There's usually a lot of, there's political capital. Little Beastie Boys up in here. You've got political capital that you want to expend. If you're going to get something done, it's in the early days of your administration. So it should be an exciting time in Congress for the first couple of months. Let's hope they put together some sort of bill that actually provides relief to people when the Democrats have a modicum of control, if they're even able to pull off the Senate. Like, this is, and it's nuts. It is nuts that the fucking Republicans have as much power as they have. How did this even happen? I don't know how people vote for these fuckers. The race between Warnock and Loeffler shouldn't even be close. The race between Ossoff and Perdue shouldn't even be close. How the fuck did we get in this situation? How the fuck did this guy become our president? I'm just tired. I'm tired of it all. Oh, that's I've been on pause. I don't know if I can listen to him anymore.
Eating of fish in federal hatcheries, $3 million in poultry production technology, $2 million to research the impact of down trees, $566 million for construction projects at the FBI.
And
The
we
bill
got
also allows
600.
stimulus checks for the family members of illegal aliens, allowing them to get up to $1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are getting.
That can't
Despite all
be
of this
true
wasteful
in
spending,
any way.
Much more. The $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only
You can't convince
$600
me
each
that
in
they gave
return.
any poor
And
people
not enough money is
money.
given to small
Any
businesses,
like no, that did not
particular
happen.
Restaurants whose owners have suffered so grievously, they were only given a deduction for others to use in business their restaurant for 2 years. This 2-year period must be withdrawn, which will allow the owners to obtain financing and get their restaurants back in condition. Congress can terminate it at a much later date, but 2 years is not acceptable. It's not enough. Congress found
I tuned
plenty
out.
of
What's
money
he even
for
talking about?
countries, lobbyists and special interests, while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault, not their fault. I am asking
It was your fault.
bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation and to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me, and we will get it done.
No.
Thank you very much.
What? No. I'm sure he thinks, like, get people on my side, I'll send them money. That was the whole reason why he was behind bigger checks. He's always like, Trump has always been behind bigger checks all throughout the election and everything. So it's not like this is a shift in position. Curious timing, though. Also breaking within the last hour or so. Trump pardons group of allies for various federal crimes. President Donald Trump has issued pardons to a number of his supporters, most notably former campaign advisor George Papadopoulos. Representatives Chris Collins and Duncan Hunter. Those sleazebags. Holy fuck. Fuck you, Trump. Papadopoulos was among the first to be criminally charged in Robert Mueller's investigation into the Russian interference into the 2016 election. Papadopoulos pleaded guilty in connection to lying to officials over his contact with the Russian government while working as a Trump campaign advisor. He's only sentenced to 14 days in prison. Collins resigned his seat in Congress last year after he pleaded guilty to insider trading and lying to law enforcement. He was serving a 26-month sentence. Slaps on the fucking wrist. Duncan Hunter was set to go to prison next month after he pleaded guilty to misusing campaign funds. Like, apparently, like, if you don't remember the story, apparently he was, like, super broke. And he and his wife were going out to lunch and shit. And she was having shopping sprees. They threw each other under the bus after the story broke. In all, Trump issued 15 full pardons and commuted all or part of 5 additional people's sentences. Now, you heard what Trump just said in the video we played from his Twitter a few minutes ago.
Estas fiestas obtén nuestros mejores teléfonos con Verizon 5G. Ahora, llévate uno de...
Whoa. And I don't know, here lately, all of my Google results have been in Spanish, so I don't I'm getting Spanish commercials and shit. It's, I don't know why. My VPN is set to a site in the US. Because if you don't set it to a site in the US, and you have like a US account on fucking Netflix or Hulu or shit, Hulu, you can't even have that shit on. Really annoying. This is Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson talking about Michael Flynn and the coup that Trump alluded to just a few minutes ago. This was last night. The video we watched was just a few minutes ago. Oh shit, that's my fault.
At one level, Colonel, again, this is in a story similar to many stories we've heard where the president has a crazy idea and people are trying to walk him away from it. In this case, though, he's
batshit. There's been people that have been calling to vote the 25th Amendment. Do it.
What is your reaction to what you have heard about this meeting and what the president's currently attempting to consider?
He's off his rocker.
My first reaction, of course, is don't take counsel of your fears. We've just gone through one of the most incredible election sequences in our nation's history, certainly since World War II. More people voted by more methodologies in a pandemic environment, et cetera, et cetera. And I have to commend all those people out there in every state that work so hard to deliver a free and fair election.
I'm in awe of
At the same time I say that, I have to
the
say
election season
my
this
fears
year
are somewhat significant with a former lieutenant.
We went on a wild ride for a few months.
What Flynn said with regard to martial law and going to the battleground states and essentially reconducting the elections. Were I the Secretary of Defense, I'd call him back to active duty, which is in the prerogative of the Secretary of Defense, and I'd court-martial him. At a minimum, I'd cite him for incitement to insurrection. This is not something that a military officer should do. You serve until you're roughly 85 years old. It's half pay. It's not necessarily retired pay. You can be called back at any time. I got my letter from Secretary Rumsfeld when I was Chief of Staff to Secretary Powell. I was called back to active duty. I was judged in a critical position and didn't have to do it. But that's the power of the military over this general, and he needs to be rebuked. He needs to be reprimanded, and he needs to be done.
Everybody involved with this, the Republicans in Congress.
These other people like Bannon and Powell and so forth, they're
I want to see the lawyers that filed these suits be disbarred.
The magic aura of this man before it dissipates. And it frightens me as to the things that they could do if the 25th Amendment or something like it is not implemented and we don't remove him from office. There's a lot of time left. When we worked on this,
There is.
integrity project, we saw Trump do some pretty
We're
desperate
talking like
things.
29,
One of the
28
things he's going
days.
to do that I'm not waiting eagerly to see if he fulfills it is he did everything he could possibly do, the team playing his team, to ruin Biden's first year in office. Everything from not allowing him to get cabinet officers confirmed because he had such a
We
control that we've
witnessed a
seen
vote
in
on a
states
Trump
over the
cabinet
Senate of the United
appointee
States
last
to
night.
not allowing good transitions to take place. I understand from inside sources that those transitions are, for the most part, taking place, but they're taking place in some instances grudgingly, and that's not the way transitions should occur.
And they're doing their best to hold up the transitions. So there's a group of Trump supporters who are organizing a second inauguration for him. Online on January 20th. Thousands of Trump supporters are planning a virtual second inauguration for President Trump on January the 20th. More than 60,000 people have indicated on Facebook that they plan to attend the event, billed as Donald J. Trump's second presidential inauguration ceremony. Well, guess what? We're going to go find that group. That'll be fun, won't it? $264,000 people are interested in this event. 25,000 members in the group. Well, yeah, we're going to join. Is it going to ask me questions? Okay. Well, I mean, right now, Trump is still president. Uh-oh. They've got a no trolling rule. Usually right-wingers don't even know how to... I wish I could come up with the second presidential inauguration ceremony. I wish I could come up with that and just make it a troll group. Brilliant. We'll check in tomorrow and see what kind of trouble we can cause inside of that group. Now, Pat Robertson is actually speaking some truth to his dumbass followers. For once,
I think the Electoral College has spoken. I think the Biden corruption.
it's not about thinking. It's what happened.
Totally been brought to fruition, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the Electoral College, and I don't think the Supreme Court is going to move in to do anything. And I think,
Of course not.
we're going to see a President Biden, and I also think we'll be seeing a President Kamala Harris not too long after the inauguration of President Biden. With all his talent and the
I don't know what is he
raise money
implying.
and draw large crowds, the president still lives in an alternate reality.
I'm almost certain that Kamala Harris is going to be the Democratic frontrunner when it comes to 2024. Do right-wingers think there's some sort of plot to get Biden elected so that they could put Harris in and stall her for some... I don't understand the reasoning on that. If there's some nefarious powers that be inside the Democratic Party and they're picking candidates and they wanted Harris, why wouldn't they just elevate Harris in the primary? None of this makes sense. Right-wingers don't make sense. They're morons. Anyway, what were you saying, Pat?
Reality. He really does People say, well, he lies about this, that, and the other, but
this guy believes in Jeebus. Talk about somebody living in an alternate reality. You run a Christian media empire. You've made a fortune on living in an alternate reality. You little fucking gremlin.
and the ability to raise money and draw large crowds. The president still lives in an alternate reality. He really does. People say, well, he lies about this, that, and the other, but no, he isn't lying. To him, that's the truth. He had the biggest crowd on Inauguration Day. He had more people than ever.
So you're saying he's pathological?
People, he saved NBC, but with The Apprentice, you go down the line of things that really aren't true.
They're not true.
People kept pointing to them, but because they loved him so much and he was so strong for the evangelicals were with him all the way.
I know, it's crazy.
That was good, that God placed him in that office for the time. He's done a marvelous job for the economy, but at the same time, he is very erratic, and he...
Why is it that God placed Trump in that office, but God didn't place Biden in the office?
So it's a mixed bag, and I think it would be well to say, you've had your day, and it's time to move on.
Pat Robertson telling him what for. I don't think these people are ready to move on, though. That's my... Hold on. Just my personal opinion. I don't think these people are ready to move on.
Going on, at first we sat as concerned citizens and we all wanted to figure out how to best navigate our way through this whole COVID thing, and as we realized that it's not quite as dangerous as we thought it'd be, I was absolutely appalled at the cowardice, and as you're sitting there with your masks on.
This guy's going to be talking about the lockdowns.
Because I'd be hiding my face too if I was you for what you're doing. This is absolutely horrendous what you're doing to these people. I'm a business owner, and I'm telling you, our families are starving. You guys can sit here with your jobs. You can sit here and you're going to get paid. You can fall asleep.
Did I stumble across
mask right there? Okay, and I'm telling you right now that we're being peaceful.
Somebody you guys are familiar with.
We're good citizens. That we're peaceful citizens. But it's not going to be peaceful much longer. Okay, and this isn't a threat. I'm not a criminal. I've never been a criminal. But I'm telling you that good citizens are going to turn into real concerned and revolutionary citizens real soon. And nobody else is going to say that. I'm probably the only person that has a balls to say what I'm saying right now.
No, I'm hearing it all the time. It is a...
And we'll work with law enforcement or without law enforcement. But you won't stop us when time comes because our families are starving.
It's a common refrain.
If you don't hear the seriousness of my voice, I hope you open your ears and you absolutely listen to what I'm saying. Because this is a warning for what's coming. It's not going to be...
They're all saying the same thing.
It's not going to be speeches. It's not going to be gathered outside saying a Pledge of Allegiance. It's not going to be waving flags. It's going to be real. When you've seen the things that I've seen, I went to war for this country. I've seen the ugliest, dirtiest part of humanity. I've been in combat, and I never want to go back again.
That's why I'm thinking you're a broken individual, sir. I don't think you know what you're talking about. But now something that didn't happen back in October or September. Was a bunch of assholes storming the Oregon State Capitol. I got a couple different videos. One of them short, but shows like...
I'm not saying that's a threat. I'm telling you. Took a picture of me. I would behoove you.
I think this is the dude that kicks down the window here in just a second.
I'm not saying that's a threat.
Here we go. This is the... Did he cut himself on the glass like a dumb fuck? This is the Oregon State Capitol. But they're assaulting a journalist. What the fuck?
Come on, guys. They're coming right now.
Well, at least somebody escorted him out of there. I got a more raw version. I want to know the story of like what was they protesting? According to the Oregon State Police and multiple media reports, a group of armed protesters broke windows and stormed the Capitol with the state legislator. While the state legislature was in session on Monday, legislators were debating COVID-19 restrictions and related public assistance in closed session. So yeah, just like the dude said, they're done being peaceful. The protesters, many with flak jackets, military helmets, and some carrying long guns with multiple magazines, entered the Capitol building at around 8:30 a.m. At least one of the protesters used chemical agents on the police. So the Oregon State Police actually did use pepper balls on them. At 10:30, police had gathered in sufficient numbers to push the crowd out of the building. It was then that another individual used bear spray against the police officers. He was arrested on multiple charges, including trespassing and assaulting a police officer. Why? How were there not a whole bunch of them arrested and charged with trespassing? Oh god, is this the whole fucking thing? This,
Scam gimmick! Scam gimmick! That's right. You see that man right there holding up that sign? That man right there. He has been fighting on the front lines of patriotism.
oh, we're gonna move on. We got too much stuff to talk about. I just wanted to get a taste of this. I was gonna call this a cope rally, but this is a lockdown bullshit. There's so much overlap. It's like I didn't even know what the dude was mad about it at the city council, if it was Trump or if it was the pandemic. You just kind of can intertwine, replace one with the other. What are you mad about? Are you mad about masks? You mad about the election? No, it's both? Oh, okay. It's the same people at both rallies. The Stop the Steal and the anti-lockdown protests, is that what you want to call them? Do we have a comedic name for those group of people yet? I've reached my limit. Talibangelicals. That is the same group. What, my big old rate of like 2 people? I'm sorry I missed out on the whole show last night. Hell yeah, that's awesome. So this is Dominion and Smartmatic have sent cease and desist orders to Fox and Newsmax.
The election,
so they've had to backpedal on some of their claims
of election voting machines and voting software. One of the companies is Smartmatic, and we reached out to one of the leading authorities on open source software for elections, Eddie Perez, for his insight and views. Eddie is the Global Director of Tech Development at the Open Source Election Technology Institute. We asked him for his assessment of Smartmatic and recent claims about the company.
The claims that Lou Dobbs and people like Sidney Powell have made on the network. I don't know who this dude is. It's some like independent dude that they've had to bring on.
Have you seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to flip votes anywhere in the U.S. in this election?
I have not seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to delete.
And this is a PR piece on behalf of the voting software. Newsmax didn't do it that way. They had to have an anchor.
Election day, various guests, attorneys, and elected officials have appeared on Newsmax and offered opinions and claims about Smartmatic and Dominion systems.
It doesn't turn your computer into a commie?
Software in the U.S. And Newsmax would like to clarify its news coverage and note that it has not reported as true certain claims made about these companies. There are several facts of.
I want these motherfuckers to get their comeuppance. I honestly think that Trump stands a good chance of going to jail because you can't flip the bird at the system for as long as he has and just skirt responsibility. The system will eat you alive. And once he loses that presidential protection, it's on. He's turned on everybody. The only thing he has is the cult of personality. The power that he has over the fucking Republican voters. Ted, I don't understand Ted Cruz licking his boot. But I think Mitch McConnell is going to be glad to have him gone. Mitch McConnell got what he wanted. But I want these people to get their comeuppance. I want the lawyers to be disbarred. Rudy Giuliani needs to be disbarred immediately. Matt Gaetz. There's now a petition to get Matt Gaetz disbarred. These news outlets should face repercussions for the bullshit they have pushed. So like I said last night, I would file complaints with the FCC on several broadcast news stations if we had an FCC that was receptive to such complaints. And I don't think that a Biden administration is going to have an FCC that's going to be open to such complaints. We got to do something about media in this country.
Viewers and readers should be aware of. Newsmax has found no evidence.
I love that this guy's name is John Tobacco.
Owns the other or has any business.
He looks like a John Tobacco. That's a really cool name. I'm gonna have to create like a character on a video game or something and call them John Tobacco. Alright, so a couple years ago, I actually had a friend get in contact with me. And he asked me if I knew who Dave Ramsey was. And I did, actually. Dave Ramsey has a talk show I think he's syndicated. He was on... I used to be a satellite radio subscriber years and years ago, and he was on one of the XM stations. It was probably like a syndicated agreement as well. He's based out of Nashville. My friend got in contact with me and asked me if I would be interested in working on Dave Ramsey's crew. I can't remember if it was a producer's position or if it was like a production position. But I'm just like, no, I don't think I would fit in very well. If you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he does like a financial show. I don't think he's explicitly right-wing, but if I had to guess, he's incredibly right-wing. He held a holiday party that has gotten some flack.
3 months ago, there weren't enough masks. We were desperately sourcing from all over.
Damn local news stations. But I have a client who told me that he recognized my number and knew that I was from the area. And I said, yeah, I miss going to Nashville. I used to go up for concerts and stuff. And he said, oh, well, we're in Franklin. Everything's open. It's fine here. You come on up. No, there's a pandemic going on. He seemed proud of it. I'm like, no. Stop doing this shit. And that's what a lot of people in the Nashville area had been going out and going to the towns that aren't Nashville proper, but are the suburb towns on the outskirts of Nashville. And that's where they've been holding their parties and shit. They even had party buses over the summer. Usually the party buses are going downtown Nashville. The party buses were going around in the Franklin area, in the outside of the municipal area.
The kind of holiday party we would have seen before the pandemic. But these photos were taken over the weekend in Franklin and reigniting criticism against the party's host.
I did not know it took place in Franklin.
Chief investigative reporter Jeremy Finley obtained those inside photos, spoke with a vendor working the event. Jeremy, let's talk about it here. How does the vendor describe the party?
Well, Lauren,
educated guess.
He says it is shocking to see that level of disregard for people's health in a pandemic.
It is.
A huge crowd dancing, wearing headsets in a disco. More crowds in a mock casino. And look at this photo.
Holy shit!
Company Christmas party. What you won't see in these photos and videos.
Understand that Tennessee is the #1 place in the world right now. The top infection rate in the world. I wonder why.
Attendees wearing masks.
I mean, it was disheartening. This year, I just haven't been around anything quite that egregious.
That's a vendor hired for the event who agreed to speak with News 4 Investigates as long as we protected his identity. He too confirmed what we reported first on Friday, that vendors were asked not to wear masks.
It was recommended that we do not.
No fucking way!
Party attendees.
For 3 days, News 4 Investigates has reached out to Ramsey's office about the vendors' criticism and why they were throwing such an event without social distancing or requiring masks, even when COVID numbers are skyrocketing. But the company has yet to respond.
Not just not requiring masks, but they ask that the servers and shit not wear masks. What the? Holy fuck. Fuck this guy. Fuck Dave Ramsey. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have fit in with his crew.
Respond. On this Instagram post about the event, From a Ramsey finance administrator, he writes, "We refuse to operate in fear. Fear is the enemy."
It just feels very morally wrong to continue this cycle of ignorance for the reasons of having a holiday celebration.
So why did this vendor then agree to take the job? Do you regret working it?
Not necessarily personally, because I was extremely cautious and obviously needed to work.
Having been there, do you feel like you need to now quarantine?
Oh, absolutely. Ethically, I feel like I need to.
All right, that's
the thing. I bet the people that went to that party, most of them don't give a shit, and are still going about their daily lives.
Did wear masks and gloves. Now, as we told you first on Friday, Williamson County does have a mask mandate, but it only applies to places where the public can go. This was a
private party.
Brittany?
God damn. Now, this is hilarious. While I support government intervention on behalf of public health, I think it's kind of funny that the New York City restaurants have all banded together and have banned Andrew Cuomo from dining. But like I've been very critical of Democratic politicians instituting mandates and then not practicing what they preach, giving the Republicans ammunition against them. He can eat at some shit roadside diner outside of Albany, but he will not be served anywhere in New York City, known universally as the world's greatest dining destination. If he has to use the restroom, he can go pee on my street corner, said bar owner Larry Baird. I understand his frustration. I understand the frustration of restaurant business owners. I don't know what the answer is. I saw a friend post about a diner that's skirting the order to shut down. It pisses me off that middle-class white people can disobey any fucking law they want to, not be shot dead in the street. Innocent black guy just carrying a sandwich gets shot in the back on his porch. I don't get it. All right. I want to talk about the axe-wielding dog. I kept talking about it last night. Completely forgot we were doing the coverage of the COVID bill. We might have video of it here. Kentucky mail carrier encounters axe-wielding dog on his route. Sounds more like a Halloween story.
Play while delivering mail. Take a look. That's a dog carrying an axe. Tim Smith is a mail carrier in Williamsburg. He posted a picture of the axe.
Well, I mean, in the puppy's defense, it just kind of seems like, you know, a stick, a play toy. He doesn't look like a meme puppy. He looks like he wants you to, like, grab it and throw it so he can go fetch it again.
Axe-wielding dog saying he's seen some strange things, but this takes the case. Rather, Smith says the dog.
That's
is
not
friendly,
strange.
and he typically sees him carrying around sticks.
That dog thinks it's a stick. He doesn't know it's an axe. It's not that strange. I made a way bigger deal about that than what it deserved. But maybe you need that last minute Christmas gift idea.
Hi, perhaps you are viewing this video because you are in fact looking for a last minute gift.
That's what I just said.
You also know someone to whom you would like to give that gift who's familiar with my work. You might also be aware that I have a new book coming out on March 3rd, 2021. Beyond Order. 12 Rules for Life.
Wait a minute. Motherfucker doesn't even come out till March? How am I supposed to give it to somebody as a Christmas gift? I'm just gonna show them the pre-order bullshit? Have you even written the book yet? He probably hasn't even started on it.
Beyond Order can be pre-ordered at many booksellers.
That was a shitty cut.
Find a list of them by country and corporation on my website, jordanbpeterson.com. The more precise URL is listed in the video's description. If you would like to pre-order this book as a gift,
that is not a flattering camera angle.
A one-page purchase announcement PDF indicating that you have done so. That could
you
be
print out the PDF and put it under the tree
to the person to whom the pre-order delivery has been scheduled. The PDF can be found at jordanbpeterson.com as well, and a more precise URL for that is also in the video description.
He's got some fluffy eyebrows.
To recapitulate, you need to buy a gift. You know someone interested in my work. You pre-order the book from a bookstore.
Producer Dave, I'm going to buy you.
And have it delivered as a gift. You print out the purchase
Jordan B. Peterson's new book
and
as a
send
gift.
It to the gift's eventual recipient. Here is a one-paragraph selection from.
Be on the lookout for that PDF I'm going to send over to you.
Rule 1. Do not casually denigrate social institutions or creative achievement. It's from a section called The Utility of the Fool. It is useful to take your place at the bottom of a hierarchy. It can aid in the development of...
I just thought he might enjoy having the PDF of the book that doesn't come out for 3 fucking months.
And you should be wisely pleased about that. There are many valuable niches to fill, given the many complex and serious problems that we must solve. The fact that there are people who fill those niches with trustworthy skill and experience is...
Listen, he got animated right there. Now that he's like when he was sitting there talking to the video, like talking to the camera, he seemed like he didn't even have a soul. I mean, he doesn't have a soul. Like when he got into fucking teaching mode, he came to life. He should be like a fucking high school English teacher or something. No, he doesn't know shit about English. He should be a teacher. He's not a public intellectual. I don't think he's fit for the college level.
Is something for which to be truly thankful. Humility. It is better to presume ignorance and invite learning than to assume sufficient knowledge and risk the consequent blindness. It is much better to make friends with what you do not know than with what you know, because there is an infinite supply of the former, but an all too finite stock of the latter. When you are tightly boxed in or cornered, all too often by your own stubborn and fixed adherence to some unconsciously worshipped assumptions, all there is to help you is what you have not yet learned.
He's fucking proud of himself.
So that's a sample paragraph from Beyond Order, which can be pre-ordered now from the booksellers on my website, and if you like, given as a gift.
Maybe it wasn't that he was in teaching mode.
Happy holidays.
That animated him. Maybe it was the fact that he was proud of his writing and he was jacking himself off. And that's what got him all animated. I have no clue how many people are in here. It has said 0 all night, but people have been commenting. So I usually only do a raid if I've got a couple people at least. But I don't know what's going on. Alright, go ahead. Light one up. Tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.